Dun dun dun. The merch has arrived. We have hats. Yep, we got merch. Look at that. Carps Bees officially has hats. So if you want one, they're 30 bucks. They're fitted. Send me a message or write in the comments, and I'll contact you and we'll arrange shipping and figure out how to get one to you. They're fitted hats, so you get a small medium, a medium large, or a large extra large. These are new era hats. Are really, really nice. They're the 3930 hats, so high quality stuff. Really, really nice. I've had several versions of this. I liked it so much that, hey, I'll have one made for my bee stuff. So, Carps Bees, we got hats. So, just send me a note again if you want one of those. We continue to be trapped in the garage doing stuff in our workshop here. So, today what we're going to do is we're going to continue some projects we've been working on. We can't get out and mess with the bees too much right now because it keeps raining on us. But what we have created so far, started to create, is a queen rearing box that's nearly complete. We just have a little more staining to do on that before we can actually go test it out when the weather gets better. We've created a trap out box that you can use on a tree or on a hole inside of a house or something. When you can't actually tear into the structure to get the bees out, this is a way that you can get the bees. So we use this trap out method. And you want to have a box that's secure with a base, no screen, and an entrance that's pretty secure. The whole idea is use this hardware cloth funnel to get the bees to go out, but they can't get back into their old home, and eventually hope the queen comes out and they start to reside in this new trap box. So we're building that. And then the last thing we're going to do that today, and that's what I'm going to show you, is I've been thinking about the fact that I might need multiple capture boxes to work with my Colorado bee vac. So it comes with one. They're really nice. They've done a great job in their construction. But what I just need is another box to put under the original capture box, be able to pull that slat out, the slatted bottom out, have the bees drop in this additional capture box, and then close it back up, set that second box aside, and then go back at getting more bees. So a couple scenarios I'm thinking about where we might need an additional capture box for the Colorado bee vac. One is we got a lot of swarms going, so I might capture a swarm in the original capture box. I move that to a hive out in the apiary. I'm waiting for those bees to migrate down into a hive. Versus just tapping them in, trying to be a little more gentle with the bees. And I get another call, so I need a capture box. So having a second one would definitely be handy. The more likely scenario, though, is, hey, if I'm out in the field and I'm using the Colorado bee vac, can I just have the second box to be able to, tap the bees down into and do all that additional stuff, and then leave the original Colorado bee vac available to continue vacuuming bees. So again, multiple swarms. If you have a very large swarm that won't fit in a single box, again, those feel like a couple scenarios where it would be super helpful to have a second box. So I've looked them up online. They're pretty expensive, so I'm thinking we'll just build one. So it won't be the best construction in the world, but it'll be enough for us to get by and do what we need to do here in our small little apiary. So that's what we're going to work on right now, so let's get to it. So here we have it. We have the Colorado bee vac capture box. So really nice design. They've done a great job on this. Took years to perfect. But you have the screen top, and that's permanently in here. You have the intake, which is, obviously you can close this or open this to be able to hook up your hose and suck your bees in here. The vacuum, unit sits on top, and this creates a nice seal. They have some foam in the top. And then when you want to release the bees, you lift this up and you pull this piece of metal out. The bees can drop into wherever they need to drop into, and then you can just stick this back in. So in my thinking, if we're building a second box, and again, I don't need this piece here. Maybe we want the lock. I don't need to have a piece of metal. Maybe I could use something a little less expensive. I probably do want the screen. So in building a second one, my thinking is we can kind of slim it down a bit for our needs. So let me set this aside. So first, I'm just thinking take a regular box to start with, and in order to have the bees actually, drop down into the top and then be able to close this, I could cut probably through this box, and then maybe, run my saw through here and create, basically a channel to be able to feed a piece of metal or something through. But I don't know that I necessarily want to do that, and I'm not sure I have all the right equipment to make it happen with the precision that's needed. So, and that's a little bit of extra work here. So my thought is let's just keep it easy. I have a lot of this spare stuff sitting around. So, couldn't I just, create a lip like this, or basically a shim like this, and then, where is it? So basically create a little shim here, and then I have some of this old greenhouse material, which is this kind of double paned greenhouse glass. And what I'm thinking is this is pretty stiff, and what I could do is use this as actually the insert that would be just like our Colorado BVAC piece of metal. And the neat thing about this is you'd be able to see through it until it got dirty anyway. And here we go. So this could basically cut this, but you would be able to insert and remove this. So basically put the Colorado BVAC on here with this not being in here. Pull the metal, shake the bees in, take your piece of plastic, put this in, take the Colorado BVAC off. Voila, your bees are now in the bottom box, all sealed up. And then to keep this in place, I have these, which are, forget what type of material this is, maybe it says. But this is like a plastic kind of material, use it for just basic edging around the house. And I'm thinking what I could do is just go ahead and tap this in here, nail those in so that it creates kind of a slot to be able to slide this in and out of, and then obviously run it on all sides here. So I think that would be pretty much it, and that would keep the bees nice and secure in here. Obviously you wouldn't want to set this in the sun where this is going to bake your bees. You don't want to do that. And on the bottom we'd want a screen, so let's go ahead and take a look at that next. I should mention that this all falls within our theme of not buying new stuff. So we're trying to use all the existing materials that we have and not go out and buy anything fancy. I certainly could go buy a piece of sheet metal, do this, but that's going to be extra cost. I have this stuff laying around, it's being unused, so why not try to use what you have? So that's what I'm going for here. Now for the bottom, I think it's the same thing here that we're trying to go for, which is in this case, what we want is a screen. So we have a bunch of our hardware cloth type screen. So I think you just, run this across here, maybe staple it in, and then use, again, these types of dowels, which I have a ton of, just to hold it in place, or some other wood. I can cut some other wood too, but just to hold that screen nice and tight in place. So that will give you the screen bottom, in the top with the basically the insert that you can pull and remove, and there you have it. You got your second, storage box when you're out gathering swarms and whatnot. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to build. Let's see how it goes. And I think what we're going to start with is the top. I think that's the hardest part, and if this fails on us, it's going to be there. And you notice I'm gently handling this because it's still a little tacky. I thought it'd be dry by now. Okay, so first thing we need to do is put the shims in. So I'm just going to use some 1-inch brads to put these in place. Again, so we're a little bit loose on this insert. So we're just going to put this piece in here to take care of that, and then we'll sand it down so it's even with the top. And that should allow for this to slide in there real nice and snug. But not too snug. Alright, because this wasn't perfect, we do need to sand this down just a little bit. Thinking I can hand sand this. Maybe I'll need to break out the... Alright, we'll give it a quick sand. Alright, I took the lip off. So there we go. Okay, so now what we can do is put these on. And I think for these, I am going, maybe we'll do the 1-inch brads. Those might still work. Voila. So we have our piece of dual pane greenhouse PVC window, and it's going to slide in just like this. And what I'm thinking is we'll actually kind of have a handheld way to pull this out here. So we'll just cut a hole here, take these edges off, and then we'll wrap all the way around the whole edges with some very thin metallic, it's like duct tape, but you use it to seal the ends of these in the greenhouse, and I think that'll serve as just a way to, you know, make the edges nice. So far, so good here. All right, so we're making good progress here. We got our insert ready to go here. We cut a hole so you can easily grab this. We have a stainless steel lock here, so I'm thinking we'll install that. Just lift this. We'll probably just install that along the edge here, and then basically you can push that up and lock this into place. So that will work. And then this won't flop out on you if you don't want it to. Put it a little farther over so you can see it. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick for that. Okay. So let's test this though with the actual Colorado bee vac on it. Make sure it still opens and closes that weight. So again, imagine that you just vacuumed up a bunch of bees. Okay, so you got all your bees are buzzing around in here, and essentially what you want to do is drop them into the bottom box. So you would pull this out, or maybe not all the way out, maybe just to right there, and then you would unlock your bee vac. You'd open this. Bees, some of the bees will fall down. If you had to, you could, lift and tamp them down. As soon as you got enough tamp down in, you just close this up. And there you go. Then get back to vacuuming. Right back in. Lock it. And then we'll have the lock here, and you can lock this. Piece of cake. All right, we still got to put the screen on the bottom of the bottom box, but I am feeling super good about this. Now, we'll show you here. There is a little gap. So you're going to lose a few bees right here at this gap. Right in there. So we do have that gap that runs across. Maybe we can find a way to close that gap. So let me think about that. But that might not be that important, to be quite honest. It might be an acceptable number of bees lost there. Again, we're doing a quick transfer here. So nice and slow and straight pressure. Get a little strip action there. You don't want that. Okay. Getting this? GoPros. All right, I think we have the actual insert figured out here, so we'll just demo here on an angle so you can kind of see, but you slide this in to trap your bees, and then you do have this little lock. You just wiggle a little bit, lock it in place. This isn't going anywhere. The bees are sealed nice and tight inside in your box, ready for transport. Screen bottom. That's what we have to build next. Before I do this, I do want to blow out any dust that's in these holes. Then what you can do is just press this on. And we're just eliminating the sharp edges, really. It's not decorative or anything like that. But maybe it makes it look a little better. I don't know. You could use anything you want here, electrical tape. How about this? I got this insulating material that I have had forever just sitting in here. I wonder if I just put a couple pieces, one on each side, and cut it to a circle, feed it through. I could try it, see what happens. Or even ring it around. Let's try that. Hey, we're just trying stuff. You like my wife's scissors? Aren't they cool? Gold. Glitter. That's exactly what I wanted. See if we can get it to stick on both sides, though. That'll be the trick. I don't know if this will hold or not. Might. Look at that. It kind of looks like it'll work. Very moldable. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is get the screen in. So we can actually work with it. And, you know, the worst thing I think you do, you'd have to patch it, but you're trying to avoid, you know, cutting wrong. So these paneling nails have a bigger head that'll hold the screen down, I think, better with these little ribs on here. I think that'll do a better job. Alright, let's try this with these. That's better. So we'll get this first edge down. And I'm just going to put a little placeholder here to hold this screen. It doesn't decide to move on me. Yeah, so if I have the little burrs sticking out here, I'm going to try to trim those off. Again, wear safety goggles. but even this bottom doesn't have to be perfect, so. Watch your fingers. Okay, nice. Still pretty nice and tight, no holes. See that? No little gaps here. Being careful not to get a splinter, and none. Okay. Okay, this is going great. The screen's almost in. We'll just do these last 2 bars here. Trim away the excess, make sure there's no burrs. And then a little more stain on this wood, and I think this is going to be done. So exciting. We're almost there. Bees, and we finished making a backup capture box to complement the Colorado Bee vac. So I guess we'll call it the Carps Bees capture box? I don't know. But let's go through the scenario. Let's imagine your vacuum attachments here. You're vacuuming a swarm up or something, and it turns out that that swarm's too big for this box. Or let's say you've captured your bees, you get a call, you got another swarm you got to go capture. So point is, you got to get those bees out of this box quickly into another box so you can continue to use this to vacuum up bees. So that's where this extra capture box comes to play. So let me show you this. I'll put this down. Let's say it's full of bees. And now we have this extra capture box. So it has a screen top. And again, this is just hardware wire mesh here. And then we use some dowels to secure this. Obviously we cut it, cleaned it up, so there's no way to get scratched or anything. And then on the bottom of this, we have this insert that we created. Now this is, there's a stainless steel lock here, so you can pull it down and pull this out. But this is just greenhouse double pane PVC paneling material. I had some left over for building my greenhouse. So just want to use leftover material, cut it to size. And then what we did is we used, again, some wood dowels all the way around the edge on 3 sides, and then complemented that with this little wider molding. This is like a plastic type of material, real inexpensive molding material, but it's really slick. So when you're feeding this back and forth through, it comes out really easy, goes in really easy. So again, that can just slide right in here, voila, and you can lock this in place and you're good to go. So again, let's just say that we're gonna go ahead and drop some bees in here because we were in a rush. So we would set our capture box from the Colorado Bee Vac on top here. And again, we vacuum bees, we close this up, the bees are all buzzing in here, and we gotta move. So we're in our bee suit, whatever, right? Put the bees up here, unlock this one, and then what I would say is you want to pull out this bottom one and just set it aside for a moment. And then when you're ready, now there's a little bit of a gap down here, so you do have to move with a little bit of speed, not too bad, but pull this out, your bee should start. Hey, the other camera died, so we're just going to continue with our iPhone here. So, but anyway, what I was saying was, you need to move pretty quick here. You got bees up here. You take out your bottom panel here in the Colorado Bee Vac, and just, boom, tap those bees down into the bottom box, and then, grab your insert. Grab your insert and just slide it in. Go ahead and lock it up. Take your Colorado Bee Vac off, or maybe before you do that, you want to go ahead and put your insert back in. Sorry for the sloppy camera work. But I guess the fact I could do this with one hand says how easy it is. So get that back in here, locked in place. Go back to vacuuming. Take this off, and now you got your bees stored nice and safe in this extra box. And what I would do is I would just flip this over so that this side is up, and let your bees get some air, and spritz them with water, whatever you need to do. One other little advantage of this is because this is clear. You can see your bees. That's kind of cool. It's hard to see through that screen actually. And the only other little tip I would give, and I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to guess this is going to be a tip, is don't leave this out in the sun. You don't want to bake your bees. Definitely want to make sure they're being vented with the bottom screen. So there you have it. Didn't take too long to build. The last little thing I'm going to do is just put a little stain on the wood molding so they don't rot or anything, but I think we're good to go with it. So when we finally have a chance to do a field test, I will put another video out. But that's how you build an extra capture box to go with your Colorado bee vac.